Okay, we are now looking at question 7 coming out of 4.2 for the d2l quiz. The scale diagram of the basketball court uses a scale of 1 to 280. The length of the court measures 10 centimeters in the diagram. What is the actual length of the court in meters? Okay, so there's a couple pieces of information here that we need to catch. First is understanding what's the question asking. So the question wants us to know what is the real length of the court? So length court is what? Okay. Then we need to look at the information we've been provided. So the scale diagram of a basketball court uses a scale of 1 to 280. We know that the two things we're talking about here are the actual court itself that you can play basketball on, and then the diagram or the drawing on the page. When we pause and think about that, we can see that given the scale factor, the 1 to 280, we know that one is small, 1, and the other is quite a bit larger, almost 300 times as big. Here we should be able to recognize, because of the context, that the diagram is going to have to be the small version, because it is going to obviously be littler than the actual court that people are playing on, because this is the real life, and so this is big. Because of that, we can now make the association that 1 belongs to the diagram and that 280 belongs to the real life court. Now we can use that to come back to the 10 centimeters that we were given. We know that the diagram is 10 centimeters. And again, this is what we are being tasked to solve. Now, the last important thing to catch in this question is what is the actual length of the court in meters? So here we want to recognize that we are being asked to compare, but we're being given two different sets of information. So we know that the length of the court measures 10 centimeters in the diagram. We want to know the length of the court in meters. When we're given the ratio of 1 to 280, there's no reference to units being changed. So that means that our 1 and our 280 need to be measured using the same unit of measurement. So we're going to start by taking our 10 centimeter length of the diagram and converting it into meters. So here we would need to use our knowledge that 100 centimeters are in a meter. So we're going to use our knowledge that 100 centimeters is equal to 1 meter. In order to go from 100 to 1, we would need to divide by a value of 100. So we're going to divide the 10 centimeters by 100 to give us the same value in meters. So now I know that the length of the diagram is 0.1 meters. Last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come back to my original ratio. Again, I've got the diagram versus the real life. I know that I have 0.1 meters of the length of the diagram, and I'm being tasked with solving the meters of the real life court. Last thing we're going to do, to go from 1 and end with our answer of 0.1, we would need to divide by 10. If you prefer, we could also write it as timesing by 0.1. They're both going to give us the same answer of this 0.1. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the right. So I'm going to use the dividing by 10. I think that's easier for most of our brains. So here, when I have 280 and I divide it by 10, I'm going to end up with 28 meters as my value.